Just to get grim for a second, because it's kind of just historically grim. Like, you were just at Burning Man, and I've never been, and you've been there many, many times. Like,
7 times.
And then we're like, you're talking about the heat, and I was like, and then the obvious dumb joke is I was like, yeah, it was a literal Burning Man. There were Burning Men there, and then you're like, no, there was one because this fucking thing happened. I don't know how many of you heard about this. Like, it's probably easy to miss news these days. But do you? I mean, should I say what happened and then you talk about it, like, or do you want to just take it from there?
Well, I was there and I was sitting kind of like on the I want to say the 3 o'clock side maybe from where I wasn't able to see it occur at the fire. But when the man was burning this year on Saturday night, there was a guy and his name was Aaron Joel Mitchell, and he ran into the fire and committed suicide. And that was actually really a really sad thing I didn't find out about until the next morning.
You said he was in there for 30 minutes.
Like 30 seconds.
Oh, 30 seconds, 30 minutes. Okay. You know what? Still too long to be in a fire.
Still too long.
I'm sorry. I know nothing about this. I was wondering about...
There was a guy just like ran into the fire, but
to self-immolate and kill himself by fire at Burning Man.
I mean, nobody knows why he did it.
Oh, really?
Nobody knows if he was on drugs or... Right. They know he wasn't drunk. They know that he had been sober previously and that he was like a beaming, gentle soul, and that nobody can really speak on why he did it. Or
I think it's a sign of the times that I immediately was like, I won't be surprised if I find out this isn't the case. But the first thought in my head is, I wonder if this guy is just like, fuck it, this is it, like this point in history, and it's whether or not often these things aren't. They're not. Sometimes a cigar is a cigar, and like, who knows why he did it? But like, it's already notable that was the first thought in my head, because it wouldn't have been last year. I wouldn't have been like, I bet he did that because the world is ending. Like, so it's like. But the other crazy thing is realizing that you were there the entire time. You were on one side of a fire with a guy that ran into it and basically never came out. I mean, they fetched him out and then he died in the hospital. But you didn't find out about it till the next day.
Right.
And I was like, okay, so I need to recalibrate my definition of what a large fire is, because like I've never been to Burning Man. I was like. How many people are gathered around the actual Burning Man?
They say there were like 50,000 people there.
Jesus Christ!
And so there's like a whole perimeter of like party buses and art cars that kind of like surround it, and then between that perimeter, and then there's like a perimeter of rangers like making sure nobody runs into the fucking fire. In between that is where everybody sits and stands, and it's a beautiful fire show. There's like this whole procession beforehand. It's like very ceremonious. They've been doing it, I think, like 30 years. And then there's fireworks, the best damn fireworks show you'll ever see is that burn. And then the fire. And the fire was like insane this year. Like, it was insane. I mean, it was kind of like a structure around the man, and the man was like in the center of it. Usually he's like up on a post or like up somehow. But this year the theme was radical ritual. So what they did was they made the man almost look like the traditional temple that is at Burning Man as well. So there was like kind of a secondary. It was a really spiritual year at Burning Man. Everything was built like it was a shrine of some kind. So
I mean, there's like cynical dots I'm connecting here where you're describing. Well, this year they tried something different where they had like an entryway on the fire.
I mean,
they kind of designed it like a place you could go into.
I guess so. I mean,
this guy broke through the lines of marshals and people there and made it through.
Yeah.
And thrust himself into the fire.
Mm-hmm.
And they got him out, like half alive.
They got him out like after 30 seconds, and they flew him to safety, but he didn't.
Jesus Christ!
I mean, it's really sad.
Yeah, I mean but we don't know why. If that was a moment of passion or something he'd been planning on, or
no idea.
Yeah. Wow.
He apparently didn't leave a note or anything.
What was the reaction after that happened? Like, how much of that crowd? Because the whole crowd couldn't possibly have seen all that, maybe, right?
I mean, I remember hearing like sound come from the other side. Like sometimes the whole crowd like sparks up some kind of like chant or cheer or like wave of howling at the moon, or somebody's like calling for their friend Sarah, and they're like, Sarah! No. And then the whole crowd is screaming Sarah until this girl Sarah's fucking found or something. But I mean, like, you could hear something was happening on the other side, God. But I mean...
And you've done that 7 times in a row, like been kind of there at the fire, and so, yeah, and you look back and go, oh yeah, something happened, but something's always happening. And I mean, that's such a weird, crazy metaphor for... If I end that sentence with life, I devalue my observation because this sounds dumb. That's such a metaphor for life, but it is. I mean, that you can't say that's a metaphor for society. You can't say that is what life is. That's great that we're all gathered together and that there is tragedy happening. That from a distance, from the other side of the fire, which is the greatest thing that's ever happened, and it's like there can be a person. And it can be mistaken from certain perspectives for just another part of a celebration, and then the next day it's like, yeah, dude, man, it's like so, unrelated to that, because I don't want to follow up that story with like, I want to go to Burning Man at this point. But it's like at this point, after in the aftermath of the election and stuff, it's like my mind and soul are a shambles of white fragile shards. Like I bought a gun. I'm planning on just doomsday prepping in a desert. I don't know how. I'm gonna die of thirst, like digging a hole straight down because I play Minecraft. It's like I look back on like a 10-year history of using the phrase Burning Man as a comedy writer to like, mean hippie and dippy and whatever, just like make fun or whatever. Like, and now it's like, because of this year, it's like, this is something that I gotta go to at some point. You would definitely obviously recommend it, right? Like maybe not to everybody, but you wouldn't go 7 times if you weren't getting something out of it. You're not like monetizing when you go there.
No, I'm not monetizing at all when I go there incognito, and nobody, like I'm not selling anything there.
Oh, you don't even perform there? I thought maybe
I do
you
perform
would.
there.
Okay.
I do perform there. I'll perform my songs and my set, and it'll be a lot of fun, but it's not something that I'm like banking on or being like, follow my website. Right. It's like not like that. It's sharing what you've been working on like your art for the year. And bringing that out and making sure that your friends and family and people get to be touched by it, like however they can. But I definitely recommend going. I think it's an amazing spiritual journey, and if you need it for, it can really open new windows of perception for anybody who goes. It really changes the way you see shit.
I'm sorry. How much did that guy's death like affect the rest of the proceedings there, or like? Did it cast a total pall over it, or did it kind of move along?
It was kind of dark. Just from my experience, which I mean, I'm not like on the inner circles of the burn and what's going on in there. So, the news came to me in passing, and it was just like really strange. But and a lot of people like knew about it, but were not talking about it, because they didn't want that dark, dismal like black stain on their week,
Yeah.
But at the same time, then you go to the temple burn the next night, and there's this like gigantic fence, and it's like up around it, and I've never seen that before, like a fence, and they're like, nobody is jumping in this damn fire.
What's the? Oh, so wait, so just to is there a fire multiple nights? Okay.
There's lots of fire.
Okay, but there's the one big Burning Man where the man burns.
So like,
that's not the end of everything. Everyone doesn't end that and go like, Jesus Christ, I got a PowerPoint tomorrow.
Oh, somebody does, I think, because people leave. People leave, but burning like that Saturday night, that's like the biggest and best party of the week. And then Sunday, usually people are like leaving all day and then leaving all night, and the temple burn is like a really quiet and like spiritual experience for people. Like people don't like talk through it,
right.
Stand up through it.
This is a joke, but also it's probably true. So it's like Comic-Con. like Sunday's like
yeah, exactly. Just like Comic-Con.
Yeah.
Lots of costumes, lots of weirdos and freaks.
See, like I'm not a big fan of major crowds and a lot of dirt. It seems like a lot of dirt and crowds.
It's like dust, but yeah.
Dust.
It's pretty dirty.
Also, what was the temperature? Because it was bloody hot during that time, right?
Yeah, it was hot. It was really hot.
Like 120? Like what was it? It was crazy.
I don't know. It was really hot.
It's
it was
a dry heat.
It was hot at night too. It usually gets like really cold at night, but this year is like really hot at night, and so like you're trying to like get dressed to go out at night because at night it's like a different place. It's like you're going to Antarctica for the night or something, just hanging out in the snow. And so you're like, I gotta put on my heaviest shit and my brightest things because it's like pitch black. And then so when the nights would roll around, I'd be like, is it a pants night? Should I put a shirt on? What do I do here?